So we have in studios with us today Mama Zeeta. Do you still go by the name Mama Zeeta?
At times I really do, yeah.
All right then. So we have Mama Zeeta, plus size model, media personality, event host, motivational speaker, femme à tout faire.
Oui.
You name it, she's done it. Welcome to the show, Ms. Maharaj.
Thank you. This is a lot of fun. Thanks. Am I on? 1, 2. Am I good?
Yes, you are.
All right. Thank you.
I never asked you all these years, seeing you at different events and places in Montreal. Mm-hmm. Why the name Mama Z?
I started right here at CKUT on Masters at Work a number of years back. And I was just going by Zeeta. And it was at the very, very beginning of when I had just started radio. And the two co-hosts, Ken and Mike, they're like, what are we going to call her? And one of them said Poison Z. And they started singing Never Trust a Big Butt and a Smile. That girl is And I was like, absolutely not. That's not going to work out. And then the other one was Mama Z because I'm motherly by nature. You know what I mean? Like I'm quite motherly by nature. And it just kind of all worked. And at the same time, I think it was before Cameron's track. But it was already kind of like this lingo, like a mamacita. So it just worked out because my name is really Zeeta. So the two just fit lovely.
Tell us, when did you first discover that love for radio?
The truth behind it, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but prior to starting Vinyl, I used to be a PRO. At the time, it stood for Public Relations Officer for the stepping group called Boots that Chris Bennett had started years and years and years back. And Chris and I were promoting an event, and he brought me here, and I did Butcher T's CKUT noontime cuts, and that was like I was 14, maybe 15. Yeah, I was 14. And I was like, oh my God, this is life. Like I was excited and I had all this energy and I was like, my heart was going and I was this new feeling. And that's when I realized I enjoyed it, but I didn't get into it until about 2 years later when I started with Masters at Work.
And what did you learn from that experience at such a young age, just jumping on air? What did you learn from that at such a young age?
Determination, productivity. Because I was a young female, I had to carry myself in a very specific manner, and I'm really happy that I was taught to do that in that element, in this environment on a Saturday. Lots of people are in and out. It was really, really crazy at times, and I was super myself. And that was really good to see myself evolve in that element. Because later on, when I got my own show, It was all of me. It wasn't a persona. Yes, okay, I have Mama Zeeta, but it was this Mama Zeeta who is myself going for it. It was really, really nice. I learned how to read flyers, even if somebody's talking to me, even if the phone is ringing. I've learned to read flyers or continue on air if the door is opening and people are shouting, because this is a wonderful institution to learn, right? CKUT gives us this opportunity to really hone our skills. This is really what we're trying to do and accomplish. So I was here and I was able to read these flyers, reading off the flyers while man and we're talking in my ear and people are like yelling and screaming and just shouting and having conversations. And I was able to focus and just tune everything out and just do that, which you can't learn in school. No. you don't learn that in school. You learn how to produce a piece in school. You learn how to cut up a track or go to commercial. You learn how to do time checks, but you don't learn how to do that. No. So I definitely enjoyed that.
Define the importance of community radio, because a lot of us still, don't know about community radio. A lot of people are still just getting into community radio. Define the importance, why the community still needs to listen.
I think education has a lot to do about everything. And we, being West Indians, do not have a radio station. We don't have something that's via CRTC regulated. We don't have that. What we do have are places such as this that allow us to come in and have slots like your show. And what we do I say we, but when now you have this position, I think that you have a responsibility to speak about relevant cultural events that pertain to the type of segment you have been given. So if it's a talk show on Community A, you should be talking about relative topics in Community A. What's important about this is that you're not paid. I think people listen and they criticize, but do they have that same dedication to do this every single week at this hour, from this time to this time? This becomes you and your thing. A lot of people are quick to say, oh man, I like that. I don't like this. Oh God, why are you doing that? They criticize it, but they wouldn't do it. So don't judge until you see. I think that's a big thing. But I also think that the hosts themselves have a huge responsibility, and it kind of becomes that thing about role models, and that's that talk about athletes and role models. That same vein, that same line. You have a responsibility to know your community, to represent it in a proper manner, to be authentic to who you are, to talk about cultural and relevant issues that are both Canadian, local, meaning Quebecois or Montrealais, and also how it affects your community. And tie it all into being this mash pot of Montreal. That's huge. And when it's successfully done, and I think your show does a very good job at that, extremely well. When it's done well, it excels, and people respect what you're doing, and they respect your grind, and they see it for what it is, a quality talk show. Right? When it's not done well and people's ego is involved, it becomes challenging to see whose community they're serving, whether it's their own respective community, what I mean is they're the king of their own castle, or the community at large. There's something that the individual hosts themselves have to deal with.
We are here with Zeeta Maharaj. She's a media personality, event host, motivational speaker,
a model,
plus size model.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about all of that. We're going to just take a little short break. You're listening to
Soul Perspectives on CKUT 90.3
FM.